Hey Rwby viewers, it's Halos with another Rwby Theory video, and today we are talking about Yang Zhelong. I know those who are wondering about Blake and Weiss, their videos are coming, be patient. The reason why I wanted to talk about her today was because of this poll, about her arm being cut off and basically being used as a plot point to make her more developed as a character, as a Reckless character. So my theory behind this is that I feel Adam's blade could have never cut through Yang. Now, again, this is just a theory, so before I get those people who are saying, this could have never happened, it was totally meant to happen, I'm going to cut you thin by saying, I understand, this is just a theory. Now, before those people who are clicking off saying, this is not a good theory, why are you doing this? I see it as a scientific way to understand how this should have happened. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's begin. So I like to start off, not with Yang, but actually with Weiss at an inner trailer. So we see Weiss fighting this, I guess, guy, if you'd like to call it, because they technically never labeled this thing in the show, but I'm just going to use the word guy because he symbolizes a guy. We see her fighting this knight, and she basically gets whacked at one point, to a point where she gets, obviously, the main scar on her face that goes, I guess, over her eye, and she starts to bleed. So at this point in the Rwby universe, it would be called breaking your semblance. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, cut to on a couple episodes in Volume 1, we see Pyrrha talking to John about using his semblance, and how the semblance acts as kind of like a shield. As shown portraying Ren when the snake tries to take a bite out of him, he uses his hands to stop the snake from actually killing him. Or technically his semblance uses his hands to make him strong enough to take the blow of the snake's fangs. Giving him enough pressure on the snake's jaw to not be able to crush it. So that's kind of the key thing I wanted to point out here. The semblance being able to withstand enough pressure to protect the user. And Pyrrha does say, and it is talked about a lot, that the amount of energy you have in your semblance is varied by person. So now we go back to our focal point, which is Yang. Yang ends up taking a blow from the Paladin when the Team Rwby is fighting Roman Torchic controlling the Paladin. And the reason why this is interesting is, going back to Weiss, you can see Weiss's semblance is primarily used for usage, not for more defensive things, because you can see she takes even a lesser blow than the Paladin gave to Yang, and you can see that she's taking less of that PSI, or pounds per square inch, because it's, for one, it's smaller of an edge, and it's less of a force because it's obviously thrown at a different speed than the fist. So again, you could tell Weiss compared to Yang, even though Weiss has a more stronger with usage, Yang has a more stronger with defense. So this also comes into play when we start to analyze Adam. Now if we go over to Adam, we see that when he pulls out his blade in the black trailer, to cut down the giant thing, almost, I wouldn't say equivalent to a paladin, but almost a paladin, again, never defined what it was. He's able to hold the sword for a long period of time, hold it up, and then basically charge the laser into the sword, giving him the ability to then disintegrate it. Now, before I begin to analyze this, again, for those who are clicking off this video, that's, if you don't want to just interest yourself in the theory, that's fine. I prefer to check the unknown. Anyway, so he goes to proceed to, in the clip where Yang gets her arm cut off, he goes to proceed to cut her arm off with one swift blow. No charging, no holding back, letting someone else take a fire while he's charging up his sword. So this means he cut Yang's arm off with enough PSI or force to, again, chop it off. Initially, with that amount of force, knowing Yang, having taken that fist blow, shouldn't have her semblance pushed her away. In this case, I would say yes, because even though the sword is probably made of a specific metal, and this is where my theory kind of dies out, or a metal that is unknown, or maybe not even a metal, like some type of gem, unknown, I would say that the sword itself, even though the molecules have been known to be smaller and sharper to cut through other molecules, Yang, when she went to go in for the punch, her semblance would have protected her, as shown by Ren when he's getting chopped down on the snake. It acts more of a shield. So if anything, when he would have swung, it should have bounced off of Yang and pushed her back. And again, this is just a theory. I'm just throwing it out there, and I find it to be very interesting because if this would have happened, imagine how Yang's character would have been. She would still remain cocky, and to me, I think that would be a more interesting story. But If you guys like what you see, click the like button and subscribe. I'm Halos, and I'm out.